Hey everybody, welcome back to the family channel. As you can see, it's only me and Kat today.
Hi!
And today we are reacting to Route 66, 20 great stops on the road trip. We both want to do Route 66, don't we? It's like a massive, it's on our bucket list. It has to be done one day, whether it will or not is a different
And whether
story.
we make the whole thing.
Yeah, that's another thing, because I'll probably end up doing most of the driving, to be honest. And I don't know, do you think the kids would behave themselves in the car long enough? I think they'd be alright.
I think they would find it interesting and they would love to see the things that are there.
Especially if we had like an RV and they could go on their phones or laptops or something and just not be cramped up in a little car. Yeah, so we're going to be checking that out today. But before we do, if you haven't done so already, please make sure you hit the subscribe button. That would be very, very kind of you. And without further ado, let's check out Route 66, 20 great stops on the road trip.
Driving Route 66 is truly a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Along the road, you'll get to see almost a century's worth of history while tracing the route that many used to migrate west. My dad and I took 14 days and drove the route from Santa Monica all the way to Chicago. Of course, there are more than 20 amazing things to see on this drive, but we gathered up a few of our favorites and took turns sharing them in this video. Recommendation number 1 is the Blue Whale of Catoosa, Oklahoma. East of the town of Catoosa sits this cement whale, which is one of the most recognizable attractions on Route 66.
I thought it was like fiberglass or something. Cement.
I was really excited to see it, and it lived up to my expectations as the whale was a lot bigger than I thought it would be, and you could walk through its mouth and climb up on its tail. You can't swim there anymore, but it's still a great stop on Route 66 for the entire family.
I tell you what, if we took our kids somewhere like that and they couldn't swim, they'd be fuming because they both love the water.
Our second recommendation is Salida, Arizona. It's probably most famous as the home of the Delgadillo brothers. They are arguably the leaders in getting Route 66 back on the map after being decommissioned back in 1985. They run a barber shop and a burger shop, and you can still meet them and talk to them about the history of the route. For those of you who are Cars movie fans, it's probably the closest city to Radiator Springs you will find on the route. Also, if you're looking for a bite to eat, the Snow-Capped Drive-In is the place to go.
I love the old
Recommendation number 3 is Elmer's Bottle Tree Ranch in between Victorville and Barstow, California. I've been to the Bottle Tree Ranch many times, but there was something different about exploring it as...
You would hate it, but I'd love to do something like that in our garden. In the back garden. I think it would just look so cool.
In our garden. Come on.
Yeah, I think it would look awesome. Put it in the back garden. Trees, you don't have to water them. You don't have to worry about pruning them. They just look good.
Hey, your neighbor will ask, hey, what's growing?
Part of our Route 66 drive. The bottle trees are basically pieces of metal welded together with bottles stuck on the end and everything from shovels to guns welded to the top. There are hundreds on the property, and this art installation is a fun place to explore in the middle of the California desert.
Recommendation number 4 is Cadillac Ranch, just outside of Amarillo, Texas. It's the home of the 10 Cadillacs buried nose down right by the freeway.
So, like, what
They're surrounded by hundreds.
I'll rewind it a little bit, but what makes you think I'm going to bury a Cadillac? It's so cool.
10 Cadillacs buried nose down right by the freeway. They're surrounded by hundreds of empty spray paint cans from innumerable graffiti artists who have visited.
You could just spray
So
it.
bring your paint can and make your mark.
Oh, we could put our names on it.
Be sure to take your trash with you when you leave.
Yeah, pick up the bloody spray can.
Recommendation number 5 is Oatman, Arizona. After crossing over to Arizona from California, one of the first places we stopped was a small town of...
That's amazing. That's like from an old Western movie, minus the power lines in that.
That's literally like you, like... In the past.
That's like my dream, isn't it? You know, I love stuff like that. Look, old time photos and stuff. Oh, that's amazing, man.
Oatman. It was instantly a favorite of mine as it felt like an old west town and there were donkeys roaming the streets. The town had a small mine you could explore, a jail, and an old hotel and restaurant. The hotel is especially notable because it's where Clark Gable and Carol Lombard spent the first night of their honeymoon. I really enjoyed Oatman because the town just had a lot of charm and it was one of my favorite stops on the entire drive.
Recommendation number 6 is the Route 66 Museum in Pontiac, Illinois.
You gotta go there.
This is one of the very best museums on the route, especially because of memorabilia related to Bob Waldmeyer, the iconic artist of Route 66. His maps and drawings and art are on display, as well as his famous converted school bus.
I want one of those. That is so cool.
That is just perfect.
Oh, I could live in one of those and just cruise around. That is amazing. Look at the door. It's even got a little like...
I don't think that would be allowed on a road these days.
Make your own rules.
And the VW van
the VW,
in which you traverse the route many times. This is a stop for which you need to plan a good 30 minutes to an hour.
Or more.
Recommendation number 7 is the Meramec Caverns in Missouri. Missouri is known for its caves, and Meramec is one of the most famous on Route 66. Wow. There are signs for it hundreds of miles before you get to it, and luckily the cave tour easily lives up to the hype.
Huge.
The tour walks you over a mile through the cave, which was once a hideout for the Jesse James gang, and has amazing formations with lots of underground water. Plus, at the end of the tour, they have a patriotic show that they display on the cave wall as well, and that's not something I've ever seen in a cave tour before.
Recommendation number 8 are the Black Mountains of Western Arizona. After leaving California, you crossed
like a landscape like that. It's like quite arid and dry. And
never.
The closest we came was Croatia. In some of the parts of Croatia.
That was similar.
That looks amazing. I'd love to. I've never seen a landscape like that.
The stunning Colorado River and the surrounding mountains there known as the Needles.
I think
you then arrive at the ruggedly beautiful and vertiginous Black Mountains. As you travel the winding roads, you can only imagine the difficulty travelers must have had in the past moving west to start a new life in California. It was easily one of the most beautiful natural sights of the route.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Recommendation number 9 is Petrified Forest National Park. As the only national park that Route 66 runs through, Petrified Forest is certainly worth a stop. I would recommend spending an entire day in this park if you have the time, and I have a whole video on it in the description. Even if you just go in to see the Route 66 history, you'll still drive past the Painted Desert and can visit the old Painted Desert Inn before arriving at the exhibit. The Route 66 exhibit marks where the road used to run through the park, and it has an old rusted car on display as well. Definitely spend a half day exploring the park if you can, but even if you can't, come in and see the Route 66 exhibit so you get
I would need to get so many memory cards for my camera. Yeah. I would take so many photos. It's...
I wonder why it's called a forest.
Oh, I think Petrified Forest, because if you looked, I think one of the rocks looked like a big petrified piece of wood, so I think it's an old, ancient forest. I think. I don't know. If anybody knows, please let us know in the comments.
Better understanding of the history of the route through this part of Arizona.
Recommendation number 10 is the city of Tulsa. When you go to Tulsa, it's obvious that they are making every effort to bring back Route 66. Starting with the amazing Route 66 Rising statue, which is like a symbol of what is happening right now on the route. Some of the highlights to be sure to see are the East Meets West statue, the Buck Adams Space Cowboy, the Mother Road Market, the huge oil driller statue, and the beautiful Meadow Gold sign.
I've never even heard of a lot of these places.
Recommendation number 11 is Standing on the Corner Park in Winslow, Arizona. This roadside stop was especially fun for me as I remember growing up listening to the famous Eagles song about standing on the corner in Winslow, Arizona. The fact that the town has adopted this line and dedicated a park in the middle of the downtown area to it is a lot of fun. There were dozens of people checking it out and taking photos, and there are 2 statues of Jackson Browne and Glenn Frey, as well as a flatbed Ford from the song parked right on the corner.
That's lovely.
Recommendation number 12 is Devil's Rope Museum in McLean, Texas. As we were planning the route, it looked just like an interesting stop. But when we got there, it was fascinating.
Oh, wow.
Every kind of barbed wire for every purpose was there, including art. How the wire was manufactured, strung, and spliced were all displayed. And you can even buy pieces of barbed wire from the 1800s.
When we were on the farm, running barbed wire fencing was an absolute nightmare. So I'd love to see something like this. I've got a scar on one of my pinkies. A piece of barbed wire went into me. I like that.
It's also connected to
I was just going to say, that's such a good idea to make a museum. Like, I'd love
interesting
to go there.
Route 66 museum, which has one attraction from an old reptile ranch, which is a huge snake. Oh, wow. You may think that a museum about barbed wire is not an interesting place to stop, but you'll be glad that you did.
I'd love to go there.
Recommendation number 13 is the Blue Hole in Santa Rosa, New Mexico. Located in a relatively small town on the east side of the state, this geological wonder has been a popular tourist stop ever since the route was developed. The water here is a cool 62 degrees year-round, and it's a fun place to stop, especially if you're driving the road in the summer. It's basically just a swimming hole, but it's crazy how clear the water is, and they have a cool cliff jumping spot, making it a fun stop for the entire family on Route 66.
Sorry to pause again. Yeah, can you imagine how long we'd have to wait for them?
Yeah,
we'd be finished swimming. They'd be like, no, one more. And they'd jump off there all day. They'd just be going and going and going.
Recommendation number 14 is Twin Arrows, east of Flagstaff, Arizona. It's lost its former glory as a trading post, but you can still go and see the 2 huge arrows stuck into the ground. Plus, there are a few buildings that you can explore that are in disrepair. It's a quick stop, but it's worth getting off the freeway to take a few pictures of this iconic spot.
Recommendation number 15 is Pop's Soda Ranch in Arcadia, Oklahoma. On the outskirts of Oklahoma City, Pop's Soda Ranch is one of the newest attractions to Route 66, and it's quickly becoming a really popular tourist stop.
They've thought of everything.
This attraction has over 700 sodas for sale, a small restaurant, and a gas station. Plus, it has a large LED soda bottle outside, which is lit up in crazy colors at night. We made a late night drive from Oklahoma City to see it lit up, and it was definitely worth it as it's a great stop for photos, especially at night.
Recommendation 16 is just to stop and talk to people. We had some great conversations with passionate site owners of the various spots along the way who will be delighted to tell you about how they came to Route 66 and how they developed the spot that they are now running. You'll also find knowledgeable locals, many of whom lived during the early days of Route 66. It's also fun to chat with fellow travelers who have found unique discoveries of their own along the way. So plan to take a little extra time, be brave, and talk to some folks because from the way. So
1139 and 1, so that's times 2. There you go. You can
plan to take a little extra time, be brave, and talk to some folks because for me it was one of the best highlights of the entire route.
For recommendation number 17, I just want to throw all the old signs and motels into one. During our drive, we stopped at over 300 spots, and one of the most fun things was just to keep your eyes peeled for the old signs and motels along the way.
I wanted to ask about this, because motels have got quite a bad reputation from movies, haven't they? Are they all as bad? Because I would love to stay in a couple motels, and I mean, if I was a solo traveler on my own, I wouldn't worry too much. But with you and the kids, if they're as bad as they make out in the movies, I'd be terrified if, like, something happened to you guys. But me, I don't bed bugs. Who cares? Like, I'm all right. But just for the experience of staying in one, would you stay in one, or would you? I think
I would, but it's gotta be clean though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You know, that's what I mean.
I wouldn't be able to stay in one of those like
in the movies where they go to the bath and there's a bunch of pubes in the sink and stuff like that.
Both the old history and the new are fun to see while driving this famous road, and every single day you'll see reminders of days passed on Route 66.
Uranus.
Also, be sure to head out at night when you're in some of the more famous towns like Seligman and Tucumcari, since these towns often have some great neon signs to see at night as well.
For our last 3 spots, we wanted to share some of the food we liked. Recommendation number 18 is Cattlemans Steakhouse in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. It is nationally known as one of the top steak restaurants in the country. But as you get inside, the setting feels like you've stepped back into a high-class restaurant back in the 1950s.
Oh my God.
At Cattlemans, whatever steak you choose, you can't go wrong. But be brave and try the lamb fries.
Oh yeah,
recommendation number 19 is Cozy Dog in Springfield, Illinois. Cozy Dog was a highlight for me since it's the birthplace of the corn dog. I've always enjoyed corn dogs, so I love being able to try the original.
I was literally just going to say that. I've never had one. I'd love to try one because they're really like famous as well.
Yeah.
You see in the movies when they go to the fairs and stuff, they always have a corn dog. Maybe we could try and make them here at home, and we can put a video up of our shocking attempt.
The restaurant has a large connection to Route 66 through the Waldmeyer family. Ed Waldmeyer created the Cozy Dog, and it's remained unchanged since 1946. His son, Bob Waldmeyer, is one of the most well-known artists who spent most of his life on Route 66. You'll see his art and murals all over the drive, but you can actually buy prints of his mini maps and designs in the Cozy Dog as well.
Our last recommendation is the
Another
Doghouse
total
Restaurant in Albuquerque, New Mexico. We actually stumbled upon this place, but when we were inside, we realized that this was voted the best chili dog in America. When you think about how pervasive chili dogs are, that is a huge claim.
You couldn't.
But we both agreed
this. You've seen me eat hot dogs, like the ones I make here at home. I can knock 3-4 back, no problem, and still want more.
Small, unassuming restaurant produced.
I'm not that keen on hot dogs. I'll eat it.
Yeah,
when
but
I'm
I mean,
hungry,
when you're there, you've got to try them.
Yeah, you have to try it. Yeah.
And I bet you they're completely different to the ones we have here.
Yeah.
Like we can't even get American mustard here. Or is it the English mustard? One of them.
The best chili dogs we had ever
I like
had.
mustard.
Thanks so much for exploring Route 66 with us. Hopefully this encouraged you to take the drive as well. If you want to read more about all these spots, go to throughmylens.com and we'll see you on the next video.
I'd love to do that journey if it was so simple.
That is such a long journey.
Oh, I would do it. I think I would love it as well. At the beginning of the video, I wasn't too sure, but then when I see some of those places, I'm like, I'd love to. Like, but the thing, I think the best way to do it is not to rush.
Yeah, then it's gotta take you long, isn't it?
Yeah, but if you just be like, all right, we get where we get to.
Yeah.
Whenever we get there, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I'd love it. Where do you want to see the most there? It's going to sound stupid. I want to go to that barbed wire museum. I think that's so interesting. I'd love to go there. I'd love it.
Me, I think I would like to see that bottle forest.
Oh yeah, that one as well. Yeah, that would be pretty. I can make you a bottle forest.
And then the other forest, the national park thing.
The petrified one.
Yeah, it just looks amazing.
But that road just looks so nice.
But the ideas, like you know, they put there like those 2 arrows. It's like just some kind of like random things, and they like epic, aren't they?
Yeah, I've got the proper fear of missing out now. It sucks that like it's almost attainable, but we were looking the other when was I saying about the flights? Our flights over there would be about 19 hours, because it's like they on the way there they stop off in some other place, and then coming back is only like 10. So. Yeah, it's a long old flight.
It's funny because coming back from America...
It's quicker.
Which is so weird.
I don't know why they do that.
Should be the other way around.
Yeah, get us there quick. We want to get there quick.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Yeah, I hope you don't mind that it was just the two of us. And we will see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye.
Don't forget to subscribe.